For more on the ongoing migrant crisis and what could come in Trump's administration, here with us now is former ICE Director Ron Vitiello. Ron, great to see you. Welcome back. We just heard Rachel Morin's mother describe walking in her daughter's final footsteps. What policies do you think will be implemented to keep illegal immigrants with violent histories out of the U.S. once Trump takes office in about 40 days?
Well, very impactful interview. It's amazing how strong she is in that scenario. The policies that are necessary and what the American people really want is a secure border. We want all the good people and the people that want to come and visit, come through the port of entry, get inspected by immigration officers, let into the country and go back when they've completed the terms of their visas. At the immediate border in between the ports of entry, we want control. We want bad things and bad people to stay out. And if they are trying to cross the border, we have the sufficient level of resources to stop them and take them into custody and return them from where they came. In the interior of the United States, I think that we need to work on a policy that doesn't allow criminals who have previously been deported to do things like what happened to Rachel and her daughter. Yes. And so having policies that hold people to account for their illegal activity at the border, but also their illegal activity in the United States.
Well, especially knowing that suspect was expelled 3 times from this country and managed to come in again. Let's talk about Tom Homan, President-elect Trump's pick for border czar. He is outlining a proposed strategy for handling the migrant influx. He's been on this network. He's been talking about his plan very openly, very vividly. He also served as acting ICE director, a position you've held yourself. How effective do you anticipate Homan's new strategy will be?
Well, he certainly knows exactly how this work is conducted. He was a frontline officer. He ran the organization in headquarters. He was successful in accessing resources from Congress. And so he knows the work. He knows the people who do the work. He's going to have the backing of the Oval Office. And frankly, the American people want better results at the border and in the interior of the United States. So I'm hopeful that he'll be successful because he's been successful in this before.
And of course, your insight is crucial because you held that position. Homan did meet with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who has signaled a willingness to work with the incoming administration on these migrant issues. How significant is it that the Trump administration might get the mayor of the biggest city in the country on board with this policy on this very issue that's so divisive, especially in blue states like New York?
Well, it's important to have the trust and confidence, local law enforcement, local leadership, and political leadership throughout the country. And so the men and women on the ground that have to do this work, that swear an oath to protect us, need the support of their communities, and that includes the politicians. And so acquiring the support of someone like Mayor Adams is important for the overall operation, but also the tone and tenor of how this work gets conducted, how to explain it to the people on the ground who watch it take effect, and then send a signal that people like that are in the country who cross the border illegally and are also committing crimes in their own in our country need to be removed. And let's set that standard. And I hope he gets more mayors on board.
Well, let's talk about that. Homan has reached out to other big city and state leaders. He wants to ramp up protection for migrants ahead of Trump's second term, against migrants, I should say. So what would it take to get them on board with Trump administration's planned immigration policy?
Well, we also respond to incentives. The Justice Department could cut grant funding. We could incentivize state and local officers to help in the task force model, like we do for drugs and we do for violent crime and other things in the United States. And so incentives matter in every part, in most of our lives. And so incentivizing cooperation, being more effective, and then if people don't respond to that incentive, maybe there's something that the Justice Department could do to restrict funding to sanctuary cities and places that do not want to cooperate.
I want to ask you about Texas, where you are, of course. Governor Abbott has put out the latest figures when it comes to migrant apprehensions, saying Operation Lone Star has led to an 87% drop in illegal crossings. That's a successful number, no matter who you ask, what side you're on. Where do you see the migrant crossing trend headed during the incoming administration? Again, 87% down.
Yeah, the Trump administration, of which I was a part, was very successful in calming things at the border, in understanding the problems and applying the right kind of resources, infrastructure, personnel, and setting the tone to give the support to the front line so they can do the job that they do. And so they understand what policies work and what policies don't. And so I see more success as it relates to control at the border and with this deportation operation that removes criminals from our communities.
Ron Vitiello, thank you so much for your time this morning, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.